That's from the top. Fuck it.
Riddle taking flight, yeah.
My biggest influence was me. Like I remember being in like middle school and listening to all his early mixtapes and just watching him being like dirty on the camera and going hard, battling people. That's actually how I used to rap. You know what I mean? I used to.
Look, I wasn't that deep last year. Now I get deep throw.
My ex bought me a watch. Said her loves timeless. Threw that watch right in the toilet. I don't got time for that shit.
Hell no.
Nigga, I'm the shit.
Eggs and bacon. Now it's time for the grits.
This is your host, Ron from the Higher Learning Podcast. Here we are in Riverside Studios, as we are every Tuesday, with our content creator, rapper, anybody interview, whoever wants to get an interview, DM me on Instagram at HNS420. Go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Politic and Broadcasting, also Politic and Radio on all audio platforms as far as podcasts is concerned. Also, go check out our blog, thepoliticandforum.com. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, HNS420.com. I'm here today with my guests. Introduce yourself, fellas.
Yo, what's up? My name's Sauce Phantom. I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, man, and this Swarm. I'm from Philadelphia. I like to tell people I'm from Earth, though, man, because we all under the same sun.
That's right. So, man, I got a Philadelphia nigga and a Texas nigga in here. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's good to see, coming from different parts of the world as far as rap, because back in the day, I don't know, y'all was younger than me. I'm 38, so It was like certain eras dominated at certain times. From 91 to, I want to say 96, or even 88 to 96, it was the West Coast with NWA, Death Row, but also the East Coast too, because they had Bad Boy and Nas and all those other type of stuff. So then after that, I think when Tupac and Biggie died, it transitioned to New Orleans. Master P, Cash Money, those guys.
That's when the South started coming up.
The South started coming up. You know what I'm saying? And then the East kind of came back, and then like we were talking off camera, Philly. So in y'all era, like, what are some of the guys that y'all saw doing it that made y'all want to do it?
All right. Well, for me, once I started getting heavy into like wanting to create music, I was always thinking about like for some reason rock and roll, because my pops was in a band like when he was in like high school and getting out of high school, and then me growing up, I was always listening to like rock music because that's what he was into, And then once around like middle school, I started getting heavy into like Wayne. I think it was like the Carter 3 or Carter 4, one of them. But I ended up getting the CD. I got my hands on a CD. Some female, she got it for me for Christmas in middle school. So I was like, all right, cool. And then once I started getting into Wayne, is like when my mind for like lyricism and rap really started coming into play. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right. How about you?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I feel like my earliest influences, much like him, I feel like just like majority of this generation, we're all somewhat Wheezy babies. You know what I mean? As I like to describe it, he was like, he was just that guy. But I think more so from a Philly perspective, my biggest influence was Meek. Like I remember being in like middle school and listening to all his early mixtapes and just watching him being like dirty on the camera and going hard, battling people. That's actually how I used to rap. You know what I mean? I used to be real like, check the flow and listen, this coalition. Like, you know what I mean? Being real crazy, trying to be crazy with the wordplay or whatever. I feel like it started there. If I would have named 3 people that influenced me the most, it was probably Wayne. He was probably like my favorite rapper. Meek was probably like the person that I kind of modeled myself after when I first started getting into music. And then third, I feel like just as a person more so, less than his music, it would be Wiz Khalifa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Another PA artist.
Definitely Wiz.
Yeah.
Fuck with Wiz.
Wiz was like, he was like one of the first artists I saw even doing vlogs. You know what I mean? Back in like 2009 and 2010, he was like using his blurry phone camera. Yeah. So that used to inspire me. Like, man, he was like really connecting with us on Twitter and getting to know his fan base and stuff like that. So I think earliest me, that was like my biggest influence.
Got you. It's great that you named those guys Wiz. I didn't expect the Wiz. Not
Wiz
too many.
Definitely his personality over anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think I know anybody who don't like Wiz.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
It's like he's like the energy of the party or whatever room he walks into. You feel me?
He was the last weed rapper.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, my podcast is Weed, so Wiz, I feel Wiz whole vibe. Like, I feel you, Wiz. I feel you.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So, you coming out of Texas, man. I heard the Nap song. One thing I learned about your style is you know, you got the auto tune sound, which is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
But from my opinion, you know, I don't know a lot of guys that, you know, got actual super bars while doing the auto tune. You know, I like the Blast Bino thing. You know, those guys are hot with it. But, you know, I noticed how you got that. So how did you get to that, you know, point where you made your style like that?
So it's like I started to, I mean, when I first started making music, I wasn't into auto-tune, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had a mic just like this, and this was my first mic, and I would just plug that into my iPad and record. So I didn't have all these fancy plugins like auto-tune or like any sort of reverb or anything. So I was just spitting. So I had to learn early on to like, okay, I gotta have bars, you know what I'm saying? And then with Wayne being one of my influences, and then whoever else was in the game around that time, it was like, all right, I'm coming with bars, you know? And then as I started to progress, I started to hear more people using auto-tune. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me hop on it real quick. And I hop on with bars, and I start, you know, incorporating all these other different sounds. And you'll hear different, you know, plugins and effects in my style of music. And it's like it all comes together to create what you hear South is now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So how did y'all connect? Like, what's y'all story?
So I was, what year was it?
It was probably like 2017.
Oh yeah, I just graduated high school. Yeah, I had dropped a song, and it was before I went by Sauce Phantom. I was in high school still. I went by Hot Sauce, and I dropped a song called Hot Sauce the God. And I'm in my room, you know, chilling, listening to my music on repeat. And then all of a sudden, SoundCloud, it would put you in an algorithm to where it would connect like artists. You know what I'm saying? So the next song that came after the song that I had just dropped was a song of his called Beanbag. And I was like, damn, what the fuck is this? So I was like, okay. And like, you know, I would listen to other people's music and I'd be like, nah, that's all right, that's cool, whatever. When I heard Beanbag, I was like, that really put me on. It like fucking sparked like a light bulb in my head. Like, okay, who is this? Like,
right.
And that's when I reached out.
Damn.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy about Beanbag because, like I said earlier, some of my earliest influences was Wayne and Meek and Wiz. When I dropped Beanbag, that was the first song where I transitioned from trying to be like a Philly rapper to just being more myself. There's this artist called Ugly God, and he put out a song a few years ago. Actually, it was like a few weeks before I put out Beanbag. It's called Water. And he went viral and things like that. And it's like a modern day millennial song. He talk about like goofy stuff.
Goofy shit.
But the thing is like, the goofiness is like my personality. You know, like I don't even really like to identify as a Philly nigga. I'm more so like a nigga from Philly, you know what I mean? Because I'm not really like a super street guy. I'm not like, I'm not the same as Meek Mill, you know what I mean? So the thing about Beanbag, which it kind of makes it crazy, is like that was the first time where I actually went in the studio and I was just trying to be myself. And I wasn't trying to like have all these crazy lines or be witty, or I wasn't trying to be anything except being myself, you know what I mean? So it's crazy how like we're here in Los Angeles right now, and it all started from that song. That was the first time I ever decided to just let myself be free rather than trying to be something that I wanted to be as a kid.
See, and that's like key. A lot of people don't got the courage to be themselves, especially with rappers. You know, every rapper think they tough. I'm like, I know every last one of y'all motherfuckers ain't tough. Like, stop. It's some tough ones. Don't get me wrong. You know, the street ones, the gang ones. You know, we know they tough. But the ones that didn't come from that and try to act like they that, like, come on, dude.
Yeah, and you see through it.
You know what I'm saying? You see through it. You like, stop it. I'll blow at you and you're gonna fly. Like, stop playing. You know what I'm saying? So it's authentic. You know, be yourself. Your authentic self. You know what I'm saying?
You know, everybody knows the saying. You know, real recognize real. You know, I'm gonna quote Nipsey on this because it was one of his interviews where he was talking about how like he feels like the key for him was always like, it wasn't when he was trying to make a hit record or make it on a radio. It was when he was just being real. And like looking back in my career from when I started to take serious steps until now, I realized the best things happened when I was just being real with myself and I wasn't trying to be anything.
Yeah, definitely through experience like that realness overcomes any sort of who you're trying to be. Because once you're real with yourself, people start to see that, okay, that person is just being them. And I feel like that'll motivate other people to just be themselves as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like that outshines anything else than who you're trying to be like, or I want to be like this person or that person. Like, no, be you. Fit what you like. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So are you guys solo artists, or are you a group, or just solo artists that just work together and collaborate?
I mean, we're our own individuals. You know what I'm saying? We got our own music. We also have a tape coming out together.
Mixtape together.
Yeah, we definitely collab. You know, relatively frequently.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that, so let's clarify. You know, I'm gonna tell you guys, I called this dude a white guy. He looked white to me, but he's not. He's a Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Mexican rapper, and I'm and it's dope because you know what I'm saying. I feel hip hop hip hop has been like sports. Hip hop and sports are able to kill like race relations. So if you play football in high school and you got some motherfuckers that came from like racist backgrounds, you gonna have to like me, motherfucker. I'm your teammate. So it kind of teaches you unity. So hip hop is the same way. So there's still obviously problems in the streets and problems overall and racial tension. And I don't even know fucking why with black and Mexican, because we don't have a fucked up history outside of the gang shit. You know what I'm saying? That's gang shit. So doing this, working together and stuff, do you guys feel you can have an impact on that or somehow try to change the narrative a little bit?
I mean, as far as this right here, like what we got going on, it's like we don't see. I don't think he sees my skin color and I don't see his. You know what I'm saying? Like we're here making music together, being ourselves, doing what we love doing.
Right.
So I feel like in that sense, like like people are gonna see this and be like, okay, like this person should be with these type of people, or this person should be with these type of people. Right. So it's like we're killing that. We're breaking down that barrier.
There you
feel
go.
me?
Yeah.
And then that'll definitely also inspire people to go and do the same thing. You know, because why not? Just do what you love to do.
Thank you.
And it'll prosper.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's good for y'all generation because coming off my generation, it was a lot of racism and a lot. I think this generation of kids are getting better, in my opinion. I got kids myself, and I think these kids are kind of like killing that a little bit. Our previous generation coming off of segregation, so they still, a lot of those people on both sides still got ill feelings. So that's kind of trickled down to us, and then now we're teaching our kids so I think it's doing a great job of that.
Yeah. And I'll just say this, right? Like, this is a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
But this is something that I dive into a lot. We were just saying every racial slur just the other day. Just at each other because it was kind of funny, But my thing is this, right? Whenever I have a show, I let everybody say the word nigga because I say it. And I understand that that's controversial with a lot of people, especially if you're a little bit older than me. Me and my dad got into so many arguments because of this. But my thing is this. The more you focus on the negative, the more it grows. Everybody nowadays is fucking everybody. So we're going to be the same color in the next 100, 200, 300 years. You know what I mean? And if you ask me, kids on the internet, not even kids on the internet, but just kids in general, kids don't think about racism unless they're taught it. You know what I mean? We look at everybody. Everybody's on social media. We see everybody's skin color. We all listen to the same music. We vibe. We got the same amount of friends. You know what I mean? It still is some racial differences, but for the most part, nobody's thinking about. I don't want to over exaggerate. Majority of people don't care. You know what I mean? So the fact that we even highlight it a lot, I feel like it just increases the problem. You know what I mean? So I'm not telling any white kids or anything like that to go around saying the word nigga because everybody's not like me. But when you come see me perform, if you singing my lyrics, I don't care, man. I know. I look at the intentions behind the words, not the sound that you're making.
Right. So where the problem that lies in, a lot of kids a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. So to promote that, you're gonna get somebody fucked up. So there's a lot of people that don't like that shit. So I grew up, obviously I got white guys that grew up with me, hand in hand. They was same. I got some Mexican friends. Like I understand certain people get past this, but you can't just go in front of every black person and say that shit. Everybody ain't cool with that shit.
Not everybody's cool.
I had a job one time. I had a Mexican homie named Luis. He was cool ass dude. And we had been working together for a couple of years. He told me he grew up, both of his neighbors was black, so they always came to me, hey little nigga, come here. So that's what he used to tell me. So one of the older homies that worked with us heard him, and he was like, "What'd you just say?" And he's a big ass dude too. So I'm like, Luis, I told you don't say that around everybody, bro. Everybody's not gonna feel the same about it, so you have to be careful. And so, and as far as the race thing, no one thinks about it until something happens. So my kids, they experience racism in school all the time. A lot of racism. They used to go to an after school program. They were probably one of the only black kids in the program. And every day, it was my kid was in trouble for something. My kids would be like, they never say nothing to the Mexican kids, but they always say something to us. It's always our fault. And so it was that type of stuff going on. And then even teachers and stuff now, and, kids talking about, because there's race on TV. It's the George Floyd thing, and you see this shit on TV. And one of my daughters said one of the boys behind her was talking about, George Floyd deserved to die. That's what he gets, and shit like that. And that's not a kid speaking. He's hearing that from his parents. So he's copying what his parents is doing. So it is. We can't pretend like it's just dead because it's not. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, we have to progress. There's no way we can progress unless we try to take those steps. So you guys doing this, I think it does say a big value. It speaks volumes to be able to work together and create good music.
We're trying to step into the evolution of humanity. You know what I'm saying? Not just the evolution of a certain group of people. That's where we come together. We want everybody to come together. Everybody in this room, everybody in this city,
Right.
in this fucking country. You feel me?
Right.
Yep.
That's what hip hop does too.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll say this, you know, that's actually what my name represents. My name is Swarm, but I spell it C-worm, even though it's pronounced Swarm. It stands for currently working on reinventing mankind. Because the thing that I'm focusing on is helping us as humans, not just as Black or Mexican or white, helping us evolve into what I like to focus on, a type 2 civilization, which focuses on like it's about the evolution of humanity, but it specializes in technology because I'm like a technology guy, you know what I mean? But that's where my whole focus is. And I had to learn early that in order for you to really understand somebody, you have to look at the intentions behind where they come from. You know, if somebody called me a nigga, if somebody called me any word in a different language I didn't understand, it wouldn't hurt me. Which means to me, it's not them creating that tension in me, it's me creating it within myself. Which means I had to step outside of myself and realize, like, okay, there's some people that's gonna have the intentions on trying to hurt me. There's other people that are just ignorant and they just don't understand. You know, my girl, well, now the mother of my child, she's Puerto Rican and white. She work around white people. She tell me all the time, like, they seem racist on the surface, but they're really just ignorant. They really just don't. They didn't grow up around Black people, or they don't know. They just see what they see on the internet or on TV. So, you know, we got a lot of work to do, man. We're still in the baby stages of it, but
baby stages.
It's people like us, like all three of us, as we're just working on pushing us forward.
I think we have to. We definitely have to make it everybody aware, because we can't sit up here and act like it's not a problem. We have to make people aware, and people are deeply affected by some of the racism that's going on in America. Even you know, certain things that the demographics of America: 66% white, 18% Hispanic, 12% Black. So obviously the numbers as far as the people, and then you look at the jail system. 38% of the jail system is Black. I think it's 23% Mexican, but white is way down there. So it's like, white, the percentage is not way down there. It's around the same, but you got to look at the ratio. If there's 66% white people compared to 12% and 18% Mexican people, that number should not be close. So that's what it is. So it's a lot of things that are happening. It's a lot of areas. You know, white people have generational wealth. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, white people have generational wealth, so it's easier for a lot of their people to flourish. A lot of people want to blame Mexican or Black people and say they're just lazy or they come from this or that, but that has a lot to do with it. So in order for us to heal, we have to be able to recognize the problem and then figure out a solution.
Exactly. And we got to get back to what we were talking about off camera with the whole Black Panther and the Black Wall Street thing. We need, as minorities, we need to create our own infrastructure. That's the reason why we suffer so much, because we have to rely on the other infrastructure to provide for us. It's just like living in a house where you're not welcome. Eventually, you got to go out and build your own crib and get your own groceries and things like that.
That's facts. We got to do that, and that's why I kind of stress the coming together thing. Like it's hard for some people to see it, but like I love to see it. I love to see that, you know. And y'all, I know you got bars. You mentioned one of your songs that you heard, you know, so I'm excited to see y'all later on in the freestyle. So, are you guys sports fans?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I used to be heavy into basketball. But like ever since I started taking my music more seriously, it's like I'm not trying to focus on anything else aside from music. You feel me?
You got tunnel vision.
So it's like, yeah, I have to tunnel vision what I want to accomplish and what I want to do. Like back in you know, ever since I was in elementary, I loved basketball. You know what I'm saying? Then middle school, I played ball. High school, I played for a select team. So it's like, I can hoop.
Okay.
I saw the court outside, by the way.
We got the basketball.
Yeah. So I was heavy into basketball. Especially, you know, we got a lot of pride in the Spurs down in San Antonio.
I know y'all do.
So yeah,
Spurs. Oh, I hated the Spurs growing up.
Oh my
God.
He was telling me how he hated the Spurs
Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and David Robinson. They gave me, because I'm a huge Laker fan.
Oh yeah.
So
we weren't Lakers fans down
y'all
south.
Hated
man.
us. Sorry. And we pretty much, as far as the playoffs during my era, got the best of the Spurs most of the time. I think the Lakers beat them 4 times. They beat us 2, but those 2 times hurt like a bitch.
Yeah. You should have seen Military Drive in San Antonio. There were cars going down, honking, fireworks popping. Yeah, we were going crazy in San Antonio.
Damn, I know, man. I think the Alamo Dome they used to play at was like the biggest. I think the biggest capacity in the NBA.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like
the AT&T Center.
Yeah, or I think they switched. It used to be the Alamo Dome.
They switched.
Yeah, so they switched over to the AT&T Center.
Yeah. I feel like my answer is the same. I won't describe it as tunnel vision though, because in retrospect, I realized like in the moment, I thought I was creating tunnel vision by like cutting myself off from sports and
Right.
video games and anime. I feel like the last like time I was super engaged was like 2012, right before I graduated high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I was saying, in retrospect, I realized I just kind of made myself less well-rounded.
Right.
You know what I mean? I started realizing that this year. So
Right.
so I haven't even been into sports. I think like the first basketball game I watched in years was probably like earlier this year, and I turned it off after a while.
Damn.
You know what I mean? But just like him, you know, like growing up in the hood, I grew up in Philly, so it was like AI, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was basketball, football, boxing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Box.
And rap.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But in the interest of sports, I have been getting more into MMA now.
Okay.
This
UFC,
year, that's been like
UFC, that's
been like my thing. Yeah. So but I'm getting back into it, man.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
So rapping, freestyling, is it still a thing in this era? Like, is it, you know, battling in that battle rap scene? Is it still a thing?
Battle rap. I feel like when you're in the stew and you're just fucking around and you don't have like a solid like schedule to go off of, just throwing a beat, yeah, let's talk some shit. You know what I'm saying? We'll battle rap real quick, or we'll just freestyle some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Until we start getting into that groove. For me, it's kind of like a warm up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before I start actually hitting like the recordings hard and shit.
Right. So there's no places that have like competitions or you go compete.
There are.
No, yeah, there are.
Is that like, is it popular? Is it still a good way to kind of get out there?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Matter of fact, that brings me to a point that I want to make, right? For any creative that's watching this, right? Don't ever think that there's not a lane for you. Because with the internet now, everybody is neighbors, and now everybody can have their own genre of anything that they like.
Right.
So to answer your question, in Philly, I know I have like some friends right now that's creating their own little battle rap league.
Okay.
You know, that's like a thing in Philly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, and then shout out to King Los, man. Another one of my like biggest influences when it comes to music and rap and things like that. I feel like he hella underrated, but we're not gonna get into that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I think like you just gotta find what you're looking for. The battle raps, I feel like the battle rap scene is flourishing now. I feel like since the 90s, it started to die down because hip hop started getting more mainstream.
Yes.
But now with the internet, it's coming back.
Yeah, definitely.
People are having whole careers off of just battle rap.
Yeah. I've seen a few pages that are just battle rap pages, and they're like, you know, flourishing and doing well, you know?
Yeah. Right. And then freestyling is just like, that's battle rap's consistent. You know what I mean?
Right. Who do y'all think is the best battle rapper? Both of y'all.
I mean, I'm not gonna say
that you heard like your favorite battle rapper. There you go.
Who was it? Lil Snoop. He was under Meek, right?
Yeah. He wasn't really a battle rapper.
Is that not considered battle rapper?
I don't think so. He died in 2017. He was like an artist that Meek signed.
Yeah.
He battle rapped because Meek put him in position to do it for money.
That's what it was.
But I don't think he considered himself a battle rapper. He was more just like doing what he could to get around.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I feel like I don't know who's the best, but I feel like my favorites, I really like Conceited. You know what I mean? I just like the way his flow and his cadence and like his stage presence more than anything. He know how to get the crowd engaged. But like, once again, man, I'm just going to throw King Los out there, you know. I feel like when it comes to lyricism, he's one of those people that's like, he should be mentioned with people like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and things like that. But I think his persona just doesn't sell himself as a mainstream artist. So if y'all know who King Los is, trust me, y'all gonna hear about him, especially in the battle rap scene.
That's crazy because, like you said, lyricism. When you think about it in today's game, everybody throws out, of course, Kendrick and J. Cole, and that rightfully so. But there's a lot of guys that aren't out that got it too. You know what I'm saying? They just not. Yeah.
See, the battle rap scene in like San Antonio, where I'm from, I don't think it's as popping as it is like up north, like in Philly or in New York, or maybe even here, for example. You feel me?
Definitely.
So it's like that's kind of like a new idea for me. But it's like when we battle rap or whatever, it's usually like at a party or like we're at a kickback. You know, it's not like a legit setup type of thing. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you guys were to get signed by Rock Nation tomorrow, or maybe create the biggest deal of your life, being so young, would you feel obligated to like take care of your family or take care of certain people? Like if you just hit a $20 million deal?
I definitely think I would. Yeah, I'll definitely have my parents' crib paid off for. You know, that would be like one of the first things I do.
Yeah.
Because you know I owe it to them over anybody else. You know what I'm saying? To be put, you know, where I'm at, you know, and how I'm doing in life. Like they brought me up. You know what I'm saying? They raised me. You feel me? Just like I owe them my life. You know what I'm saying? And especially like my grandma and stuff too. You know, with whatever we're going through back at the crib and the family and shit. I want to make sure everybody's straight before I start making sure I'm straight. Because if I was able to get a deal like that off rip, then it's like, okay, then I know what I can accomplish. You know what I'm saying? So I can just hit it harder and do it again. You feel me?
You know your worth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man. The only reason why music is a career for me is because of my family. like I really, like I don't know if too many people can say this, but I would be making music whether I was making money or not. This is just like the thing. This is just what makes me happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? This literally like I don't get happy at that many things, but when I hear myself on a beat, you know, like even talk about it right now, I'm just thinking like, man. But the reason why I chose to make it a career was, you know what I mean? Like I'll give you the short version. I remember when I was like, when my mom was living in South Philly and she literally didn't have anything to provide for us. You know, I got 3 siblings. Damn, you know what I mean? Damn. And I remember like one day I walked in the living room and I was like, Mom, I'm hungry. And she started crying because she knew it wasn't nothing in the fridge. You know what I mean? Right. And then I went up, I told her it was cool. You know what I mean? Because I think I was too young to understand it at the time. Right. I was like, no, it's cool. I went upstairs and turned on like MTV Jams. And I started realizing like, yo, these rappers throwing around all this money and they got all these girls and stuff like that. Right. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, because I was already in the rap. I was already in the music, but I'm like, oh, so I can pay for shit with this. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. So I wouldn't even be making music. I wouldn't even be trying to do this if it wasn't for my family, man. So that's the only reason why I'm out here doing this right now, trying to make money from it, you know?
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I mean, we still haven't gotten paid no lump sum yet.
Yeah. You know I'm just saying, like,
so that goes back down to
it's
like
coming. You know what I'm saying?
That goes down to like the love of music. Like we're still out here trying to do this shit. You feel me?
Right. Of course, it's part of the grind. It's just something that you're gonna have to face one day.
Oh yeah.
You know, blowing up. You know, a lot of guys feel that pressure and end up going broke or end up, you know, fucking off all their money trying to take care of everybody. And I understand. Like I got people I take care of too. So people talk about what they would do before they get in that position until they get in that position.
Yeah. Right. You know, so you see that money in front of your face, right?
Right. You got the ability to literally change damn near everyone's lives. Would you do it or would you not do it? You know, so that's dope of y'all to say that you would, you know, pretty much because your families.
I appreciate that question too. You know, one of the things I've been focusing on most recently is financial literacy. Yes. And anticipating having all of that money coming in. You know what I mean? Like I've been learning a lot about REITs and stocks and things like that. Right. And I just feel like I've witnessed it myself. You know, like I used to work at Rite Aid. Right when I first graduated high school, and I was an assistant manager there at like 19, you know. So I was making like at the time I was seeing like $900,000 checks a week, and I remember one time I spent like $1,000 just going to the mall buying all this shit, and like the next day I realized like, wow, I still feel the same exact way with these new Jordans on. Right. So I think that was like the first moment where I realized like, oh, this is what it's like when you blow up and you get a bunch of money. Right. You think you're gonna buy a bunch of shit and be cool with it, but then you're just gonna have a bunch of new shit. You still gonna have the same mental problems. You still gonna have the same health. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna act like all of my money is going into stocks and things like that. But I'm more aware now that I'm 25. Right. You know what I mean? I'm more aware that like I gotta be smart with what I'm doing with my money. You know what I mean?
We learned that just this past year too, because we were both getting unemployment checks because of COVID. Right. You feel me? Right. And I don't know how much I got, like what, 15K or some shit off of unemployment checks, and I blew all that on the dumbest shit, man. Looking back at it, it's like, man, like, what the fuck that's the stupidest shit I could have done. You know what I'm saying? Right. Buying a lava lamp for $40. Like, what the fuck do I need a lava lamp for? You know what I'm saying? I need a lava lamp. Going getting a like DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff. Yeah. It's like, bro, I don't need to be wasting money on all this dumb shit. You know, so we got food at the crib.
Right. Exactly.
Like go get groceries. Some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I didn't do that, guys.
But you know, it's important to. I mean, if you're not taught how to be financially responsible, you know, probably your first. I wouldn't even say big bag. Your first, you know, whenever you get that, start seeing that money. I think everybody, you know, goes through that. They go through a fuck off period.
That's how it was with me with the unemployment checks. Because once I started getting the unemployment checks, that was more than what my job was paying me. So I was like, damn, I'm really coming across some money now. It's like I could blow some of it. You feel me?
Exactly.
So like that was like the most money I had come across in my life. Right. You know.
Exactly.
So after blowing it all, it's like, all right, now I kind of miss.
You learn
that money. You know what I'm saying?
Now the lesson though is more important. Yeah. Now you know what to do when you get that shit. You're like, I can't fuck that off. I gotta get into crypto. That's what Nipsey was been talking about Bitcoin since 2007 or something like that. I don't know. Like early as fuck.
Yeah, and then now they got the NFTs popping out. Have y'all been keeping up with NFTs?
I don't.
Oh man, it's like the digital art world. I'm telling you, within the next few years, this whole digital art world, like you're gonna have on this Jordan suit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's gonna once they sell it to you at the cash register, they're gonna be able to. You're gonna have like a digital version of that.
Right.
And it's like you're gonna be able to customize like your little avatar with that through NFTs and shit. So whenever people like scan whatever drip you're wearing or whatever, it'll pop up like, oh yeah, you got the digital version of this fit too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're gonna be fresh like in real life and digitally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like the whole future of like digital art and NFTs and you know drip and clothes and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that future. And as far as investments, I feel like now is the best time to be getting into that shit
Man,
before it starts
come on,
getting even
man.
more mainstream than what it is now. You feel me?
It's about being smart. I mean, we just rest in peace, Kobe. But we just saw the news about he bought shares of body armor for $6 million a couple years ago. They just sold it to Coca-Cola, and he got his profit was he got 400 million. So Kobe would have been a billionaire by this time if he's still alive. Like smart investments, man. Like some of these guys, like Jay-Z, he has a line in his 2001 album, this Blueprint album.
The Blueprint.
I always reference that. He says, I came into this motherfucker 100 grand strong, 9 to be exact, from grinding G-Packs. So he started with 900,000. Then he says later in the song, I'm a 40 million boy, 40 million, and I'm the 80 million boy. This was 2001. 20 years later, he's almost 2 billion from 80 million. That motherfucker grew his wealth in 20 years like no other. Like I've never seen no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's about investing your money smart and educating yourself, as you were saying about financial literacy.
Yep, being aware. I'll just say this, right? Because I'm pretty sure majority of people in America were getting some sort of unemployment over COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie and say, because I definitely spent a little too much money on weed. You know what I mean? But I'll say this, and I'm gonna be honest.
We all did.
We all did, right? Especially over here, right? I'll say this.
Medicine.
The first things that I did with all of my money, I invested it. You know what I mean? I paid off my car. I paid off all my debt.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I invested in Adobe, and I bought camera equipment, and I taught myself how to do that because I was already anticipating this not going. They show you when it's going to end. They show you how much you got access to.
Right.
So I already knew. You know what I mean? So I'm just like everybody else. Where of course, like I spend money on Taco Bell when I got food at the crib. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think you just need to be aware of like, what can I do right now to make my life better tomorrow?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that's how I think.
You're right. But it's like you said, it's important. That was gonna be my next question. During the pandemic, I know it was horrible for a lot of people. People lost people. People got sick. I caught that shit a couple months ago, so I know how that shit feels. I didn't suffer like others did, but so were you guys? Did it like hurt you more, or were you able to capitalize and take advantage of it?
So I feel like once COVID started, everybody was freaking out. Nobody was stepping foot outside the house at all.
Right.
As it continued, like I said, I was getting unemployment checks, so I was just chilling at the crib, stacking money, and then blowing it on Amazon shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
But during that time period of not going out and not doing shit, I was able to focus more on myself and my craft. I looked up YouTube tutorials on how to edit videos. I was able to focus on more of the things that could make me productive that I had time for now that I didn't have a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like the money was coming in, and I was able to also build myself up from, learning different skill sets that I could use in the future.
Right.
I mean, like what he said, he was able to invest in Adobe, buy a camera, and learn that skill as well. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, in a sense, it was a blessing and a curse.
Right.
It sucks whatever that people were getting sick and shit. My whole family got it. Like I got sick. That song Naps that I dropped, I recorded it. I had COVID when I recorded that song. I was fucked up.
How did you do that?
I was fucked up in my room like this, laying on my bed.
How the fuck did you do that?
My brother was fucked up in his room too. My mom was in her room. I think my pops was at my grandma's or something. So it's like we were all just fucked up off COVID, and I brought my mic up into my room and shit. And I was like laying in bed, and I was like, you know what? Fuck, let's just throw on a beat. And you could kind of hear it in the vocals too, that I kind of have like a sick tone. Jump from my city right up on them. Like it's more of like a mellow tone. You know what I'm saying?
How did you get the energy, bro? Like when I had this shit, I had zero energy.
Yeah, well, because I was just in the crib and I was like, damn, like I have COVID, so it sucks already. I can't step foot outside of my room. I can't go out anywhere. I can't do shit. So it's like, even that sickness, me having COVID, didn't stop me from like still pushing and doing some music shit. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
It's like I had to do something productive. I didn't want to be counterproductive at all. And
I couldn't even answer the text message. I was so fucked. I was like, man, I don't even want to do. I ain't got the energy. It take a lot to do this right now.
Oh yeah.
I was ignoring motherfuckers,
man. Yeah, that shit sucked, man.
It does, man. So I'm glad you guys were able to kind of like improve and capitalize, of such a horrible time that we face in America with the whole COVID-19.
Yeah. It was a difficult time, man. What's funny? I was homeless and I had court COVID. You know what I mean? Like I was living out of my car, and I remember like it was exactly like you. Like I literally couldn't even move.
Yeah.
Like I had to like force myself to have the energy to walk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was crazy. But the way I like to look at it is this: unless you got an unfair sentence and you're in jail, unless you're like in somebody's basement, locked away in another country, nobody knows where you are. I feel like for the most part, if you were born in America if you were born in America, like you're legally a citizen, you can turn majority of negatives into positives. Because I know a lot of people got affected by it negatively, but a lot of people didn't. You know what I mean? And I think it's really about the mindset that you go into anything that you have, in any problems that you have to encounter. You know what I mean? Because it's like, look at we just did the video like last week, like 2 weeks ago about that. He recorded that song. Who would have known we would have been in Los Angeles? We would have got the opportunity to shoot the video at the Vapor 95 store, all of a song where he had COVID. You know what I mean?
That's
so
crazy.
It's like, it just depends on your perspective on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will acknowledge a lot of people were affected. Like my mom, she got fired because of COVID. She couldn't even, and she wasn't even able to get unemployment checks. So everybody got affected differently. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah, it's just about how you take it. Is how I would say.
That's crazy. Man, that's unfortunate, man, because a lot of people, like you said, did suffer, but those that were able to capitalize, like, I hope, you did that, just that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a question. Are you guys Drake and Kanye fans?
I am.
Yeah. I'm more of an underground fan, man. Like I kind of steer more to like people who would need my support as I would need somebody else's support.
Got that.
But no, don't get me wrong. Like I fuck with a lot of mainstream artists.
Yeah, I only asked that because I was gonna ask who y'all think had the better album since they had the beef.
Yeah, that's your question.
Man. Well, first of all, I'll say I feel like it's kind of unfair to compare the two because Kanye is a more well-rounded artist than Drake. You know what I mean? Like he produces, he mixes and masters.
Right.
So his is gonna come out differently regardless. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but if we are going to compare the project just because they were released at pretty much the same time, I think it's for different crowds. You know, Kanye's album was more of a piece of art, in my opinion, rather than just music. Yeah. That's really, is that like a
lot of people saying that? It's a common thought.
That was my perspective on it. It was like I would listen to that. I wouldn't listen to it to turn up or to like. I would listen to that if I was driving around and I wanted to only pay attention to that, or I wanted to have like some background music to like maybe a fashion show or something like that. Whereas Drake, he tends to make music more for the people. You know what I mean? So that was my take on it. What's your opinion on it?
You know what? I grew up a Kanye fan. So this is an unbiased statement. You know, I'm a Kanye fan. He's weird and he got some weird views, but musically the motherfucker is it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a new Drake fan. I became a Drake fan like 3 years ago. I wasn't fucking with Drake at first.
What made you like him?
Just his consistency, man. Like him being on the radio every fucking year, 5 times a year, all year. Come on, you hear it that many times, you're gonna have to stop saying, okay, man, the motherfucker is dope. Shut up. So that's what made me Drake made me respect him. So I'm a new Drake fan. I fuck with everything he do. So these two I put on the Donda. I remember they were playing at the barbershop and I said, let me sit in the car and do it. And I just got tired because I feel Kanye's mind was all over the place and it was stressing me the fuck out. So I couldn't even finish the album. But when I put on Certified Lover Boy, I just couldn't stop playing the album. So,
back to forth.
You know what I'm saying? So Drake, I think for me, he never misses. You know what I'm saying? Drake is a legend and I liked his project better.
You know, I'm glad you just brought that up, right? Because when I woke up this morning, this was the first thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about how Drake is the top guy, right? And I started thinking about like why he is like that, you know what I mean? So if you're an artist that's listening to this, yo, I want you to realize Drake has a whole team around him to help create what he has to offer. So to the average consumer, we just listen to the final product. You know what I mean? Unless you're like people like us who kind of are, we understand a little bit behind the scenes. But to somebody that just play music, all they hear is the songs. They don't realize there are multiple writers. They don't realize there are other producers that's contributing. You know what I mean? Whereas like to somebody else, like people like us, we write our own music. You know what I mean? I make beats. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a different process. So I found myself kind of comparing myself to him, thinking like, what can I do to get on that level? But the truth is, you just got to get on your own level and wherever that's going to take you. You know what I mean? Because it could be anywhere.
That's facts. It's fun. It's great that you brought that up, man. It's you can't. Everybody can't take that role. So you know, Drake came out at a great opportune time. He got with Wayne, and you know, he got with those guys, and you know, along with Nicki, and they all kind of like just took over at the same time.
They became like a power trio in the rap game.
Young Money
was running that shit for a while.
Young Money was running.
I remember being in school, and there was like every Friday, the entire school would wear their YMCMB shirt. I was the only one that didn't ever buy a YMCMB shirt, man.
I didn't fuck with it.
But you know what? If anybody has a YMCMB shirt for sale, I'm a size medium.
Exactly, for real.
I'll buy one now.
For real. I came to respect all of them, because they were running shit for a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was dope to see that process of them, Nicki, Drake, Wayne, and they was on every fucking feature. They were all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like just running shit, just working. You appreciate the work.
Oh yeah,
working. It takes work to y'all know what it is. The musical processing and recording and mixing and erasing lyrics and erasing verses, going back and doing it again. Like you know what it is. So shout out to Drake.
I got a question for you, Ron.
Yeah,
because you're a little bit older than us, so I feel like you got a unique perspective on this, right?
Yes, sir.
So the way I remember it back in the early 2000s, when it was like the Wayne, Kanye, 50 Cent era, where it was like 50 Cent was dominating and things like that, where I feel like this was like a part of the transition where rap was going from being serious to being more mainstream, you know what I mean?
Right.
So who do you think were like some of the people that really pioneered the way for somebody like Drake to come in and sing it for it to be okay now? You know what I mean?
Okay, so it was only a couple of guys that was on that. So I think the guy that doesn't get enough credit for that transition, especially mainstream, and I did not like this guy at the time, but I appreciate his music now, is Ja Rule, man. Like I didn't like Ja. I was a 50 M Dre fan. Like he went at them. I hated Ja.
You can't like fuck Ja if you like 50.
Yeah, I couldn't. I love 50. I was, I left work and went to Blockbuster Music and was late to coming back from lunch to go get that Get Rich or Die Trying. I didn't give a fuck. I said, I'm about to go get this album. You got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So Ja, he really had a lot of hits where he was singing and everybody clowned him and shit. But I wasn't listening out loud. But when I went in the room, I was low-key playing it like this.
No auto-tune.
No auto-tune. You feel me? So Ja kind of paved the way for that. He didn't give a fuck about what people said about him being soft or why you singing. He made hits. Yep. And I think that's where he kind of started it as far as that. And then, the auto-tune came with T-Pain and, so all those guys kind of came around the same time. Yeah. So I think it was Ja that kind of opened the door for everybody.
You gotta give him his flowers, man.
Nah, too. Shout out to Ja, man. Shout out to Ja. He did that shit.
Lil Wayne, Lollipop.
Lil Wayne. So Wayne, of course, Wayne. We could talk about Wayne's dominance from when he started to
what, just last year?
Just when he stopped rapping.
What was the last thing he dropped? It was the
Carter 5?
No, it was a tape.
This tape.
What was it? Was it No Ceilings? I don't know. He did a recent tape. The whole tape, man. It's like, bro, I don't understand how he's keeping up so much. You know what I'm saying? With like the newer school artists and stuff. Right. And it still sounds good. Right. I feel like he slept on, like a lot of people give him the appreciation for like his mixtapes and stuff. Yeah. But like nowadays when I tell people like, yo, did you hear that new shit Wayne dropped? Like, oh, you hear that shit? And they're like, Carter 5? And I'm like, bro, that was like, what, 2 years ago now? Yeah, like, no, he's still dropping shit. Like, he's still making them hits, bro. Y'all sleeping on it.
No, Wayne, he paved the way for a lot of these new artists.
Man. Oh, yeah.
I think it was a tape with him and Rich the Kid.
Oh yeah. That's something he dropped recently, too.
See
you up on that.
Oh, man. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Wayne, man. He really, really changed a lot, and he really paved the way for a lot of these new artists. So with you guys, what are your next projects? You got EPs coming, more singles coming? You want people to go check some shit out?
I mean, the whole time we've been here, we've been kind of grinding out these music videos, working on new music. We just did a show 2 days ago. That shit was pretty good.
Oh, where at?
What was it called? The Coffee Shop? It was in Long Beach.
In Long Beach, okay.
Yeah. It was in Long Beach, and it was a nice little underground show. The promoters were excited to get us out there. We're at the top of the flyer and everything. It was cool. It was real cool.
Do as much shows as y'all can, man. That's where it's at. People got to see who the fuck you are.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's my special.
Especially in LA and that whole area, Long Beach, LA, Hollywood, that whole scene out there. Even wherever you can get booked, man, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to make a comment, right, on what we were just talking about with Wayne, right? Because we were all basically agreeing that like Wayne pioneered the wave. I will also say that he was one of the first people to rap with auto-tune on, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Because T-Pain was singing.
He was singing.
Yeah, and Kanye was singing, but Wayne
started rapping.
Yeah. So, but the thing I want to say about this, right, is this is another like message that I want to send to artists, because I know myself, I spend way too much time worrying about other artists. Yeah. But we got to understand, the same thing I said about Drake is very similar to Wayne. Baby picked up Wayne when he was 12 years old and put him in the studio. Right. So he didn't have to worry about as much as how maybe you would have to worry about now. You know what I mean?
He just had to get in the studio and
rap.
He had it. He was right there laid out for him. You're right.
So if you're an up and coming artist and you're thinking about like, how come Drake is this or Wayne and this, just remember, yo, everybody got different lives, yo. Everybody is in a different position. And you just got to make the best based on what you got going on.
That's a fact. Like it's I think a good comparison to that is when we look at, Slim Shady. You know, and other white rappers, Eminem, he's one of my favorite rappers. He's in my top 5 of all time. In my opinion. But he came under Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was the king of everything. You know what I'm saying?
50, right?
Yeah, they discovered 50. They came and got 50. Dre didn't want him. M got him. So 50 said that Dre was gonna throw him away. And M came and said, nah, Dre, you gotta sign this motherfucker. So he always give Eminem credit for saving his career. You know what I'm saying? But M, he came under Dre and other white rappers after that. This was the whole Machine Gun Kelly beef thing. He pointed out if I had Dre, I could do that shit too. And so they got a little beef or whatever. And it's not that simple, but it's easier. It is a little easier when you come under somebody like Dre. Whereas you got to scrap yourself. Yeah.
You know what? I'll just answer the previous question that you asked about like what's coming next. We do have a project together. Okay. But me personally, I don't want to focus on putting out projects because I'm understanding where we're transitioning into is visuals. You know what I mean? And not even so much just like music videos, even though that's what I'm focusing on. Right. Just even if you look at social media now, everything is video based. Everything is like what you can see. Right. You know what I mean? Or at least majority of it. Right. So I feel like me moving forward for the remainder of until I start this tour, you know what I mean, which would be like in 2022. I just want to put out as much of my face, as much as people seeing me as possible, because I feel like I'm not at a point where I have enough of a fan base where people is gonna want to go listen to a whole project. So I just want to give them as many visuals as possible. That way they can understand what they're dealing with, and then they can want to get into the whole project.
That's right. That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah. As far as projects, well, when did I drop Balcony? Like a year ago?
About that.
I dropped a project about a year ago. And it's like prior to that project, I was hitting consistent numbers, you know what I'm saying? But once I dropped the project, it's like, okay, you would see the top track get like all these plays, and then it would swindle down towards the end. So it's like, it's not that I was necessarily losing people's attention. It's just that people didn't have that time to listen to the entirety of the project all the way through, like, as opposed to me dropping a single here, a single the following week, the following week. So it's like that consistency, I feel like, is definitely more helpful for artists at our level as opposed to somebody like Drake, who, of course, you're going to go listen to the whole album because people already know who Drake is. You feel me?
Right. That's right. So you want to tell everybody where y'all come from? Shout out anybody, tell them where to follow you on Instagram and all your social medias and all the musical platforms.
So I just wanted to say shouts out to Texas, shouts out to San Antonio, Texas, shouts out to the 210, shouts out to my people back home, shouts out to Phantom House and everybody that's ever supported me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the people that supported me. So that's a special thank you from the bottom of my big Texas heart. All right.
Fuck with it.
Everything bigger in Texas.
Oh yeah, by the way, remember the Alamo. Don't forget.
Everything bigger in Texas. That's a fact.
Yeah, man.
Ass is everything.
Shout out to Philly. Philly made me, but the thing with me is because of what my focus is, I can't really separate myself from everybody else as much because that'd defeat the purpose of my ultimate goal in life. You know what I mean? Right. So I like to just tell, like, of course I'm from Philly. That's where I was born. That's where I grew up. I spent a lot of time in Chester, PA, which is right outside of Philly. So I spent my teenage years there. So yeah, they helped create who I am. But the person that I am moving forward, I'm a human being. I'm an earthling. We all have the same blood underneath our skin. You know what I mean? For the most part. And I think one thing, the biggest problem with Philly is it's more competitional than it is collaborative. And the thing is everyone's in the same city. It's like North Philly, West Philly. People want to be against each other. People want to be black and white and all of this other stuff, forgetting the fact that without that sun, none of us would be here right now. Right. So my thing is like, I'll acknowledge where I came from. You know what I mean? But I just want to break down all of these barriers that we got between each other because it's created too much of a divide. Right. If you want to look at it as just competition, sure, it got to be Sixers versus the Lakers. It got to be the Spurs versus the Knicks.
Some fun shit.
Exactly. But in the interest of growth and evolution, we got to understand that if an alien come here to attack us, all of a sudden we're not black and white. Right. We're humans, and that's that.
It's us against them.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I'll never disrespect where I came from or not acknowledge the people that made me. You know what I mean? Because I grew up on that too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Philly. You want to give them your social media?
Yeah. On Instagram, it's @SaucePhantom, TikTok, Twitter, all that. You can check me out on Spotify, SoundCloud, all social medias, everything is Sauce Phantom.
Yeah, for me, all of my social medias is @Suncwom, but it's spelled SUNCWORM. And there's an acronym to that, but I'm gonna let y'all go to my social media to find that out. You know what I mean? My whole thing is just to get us to create a Dyson sphere to evolve human beings. Sunswom is the label that I have, my created thing, and Swarm is me. You know what I mean? But you guys will learn more about that the more you get into me, if you get into me.
That's right.
You know
That's
right.
We want to thank y'all for joining us today. Right now is the freestyle session. We got our freestyle session. You know, we always ask rappers to go ahead and spit, you know, a hot little 16 or whatever they feeling, you know, over their choice of beat. So which one of y'all want to go ahead and bless us first?
Come on.
I'm with it.
In the mic.
Yep.
Run that back. Look, yeah. 2 clocks, Tim and Moby, and they make your brain pop. Boy, you get your ass finesse like I work at GameStop. And I run the track so hard I make that fucking train stop. I run your fucking fade. What that is? Barbershop. I told that bitch, you can't fuck with me. If you wanted to, I stomp your bitch ass out. Now Lil Sauce got bloody shoes. Got your bitchy on my Snapchat sending pics of underoos. I got a girl out in Australia sending pics of kangaroos. I get high. I think I need a parachute. Really? I don't fuck with 12. I'ma sleep till afternoon. And I fucked the bitch once, but tonight is deja vu. And if you want that smoke, I bring that smoke. Texas barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't blaze this shit, huh? I don't fuck with 12 afternoon. Okay.
Let me go acapella. Let me go acapella. The beat gonna throw me off. I ain't high right now. Yeah, I'm gonna just do some shit. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you. What should I do, man? I ain't gonna go off top. I used to always want some Gucci sandals, but now I just want to run that bag up. Got to lose these sandals. My girl addicted to Amazon. We don't even use these candles, but ain't no returns or pressing back. I'd rather lose the channel. I never ever expected to be the loser and maneuver. Oh! I used to always want some Gucci sandals, but now I just gotta run that bag up. Got to lose these sandals. My girl addicted to Amazon. We don't even use these candles, but ain't no returns or pressing back. I'd rather use these channels. I never ever expected to be the loser, and where I'm from is confusing, and you used to have to maneuver careful. My God, I remember. I just made that. I was trying to get y'all some new shit.
No, it's all good.
Let me see. One more. Oh, what was Beanbag? How Beanbag start?
24/7, 365.
Nigga, I'm on my grind. Got so much shit on my mind. Look, I don't even mind. Man, all these people some fake. All of y'all really some swines. And all these people act gay. Just like my mom.
Hey, mom. Bitch, call me
for the D. Nigga, I'ma go right now. Most likely. If she call me up.
She be like, why you so childish? Bitch, I'm grown right now.
Grown up. Hopped in the game, start winning. It's like I got the cheat code.
Look, I wasn't that deep last year. Now I get deep throat.
My ex bought me a watch. Said her love's timeless. Threw that watch right in the toilet. I don't got time for that shit.
Hell no.
Nigga, I'm the shit.
Eggs and bacon. Now it's
time for the grits.
About to hop right in the game like LeBron on the bench.
I used to want to, yo, sis.
Now your mom on my dick. Lined her up with that D. That was my line of defense.
Nigga, I'm the shit. Everybody know about Swarm. Soon as she seen my dick, she was like, "Oh my god." That was Australia accent, man. You know. Shout out to Beanbag, man. That thing made me. You feel me, man? That was a little freestyle for y'all. Thank you for having us, man.
Damn, what's up, man?
Thank you, man.
Thank y'all for joining us in the Higher Learning Podcast, man.
How often do y'all do these podcasts? Is it every week?
Every week, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday?
Okay.
Every Tuesday. So that's when we film them, every Tuesday.
Yep.
Anybody want to interview, DM me on Instagram. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, share, YouTube channel, Politic and Broadcasting. Go check out our blog, thepoliticinform.com. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, HNS420, and look out for further interviews and further content coming along. You guys, we signing out of here. Higher Learning Podcast. Ron, peace out.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I got to dab you again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.